Back inside of the Coliseum here in Winston-Salem as we take a look at the starting lineups for Texas Tech. John Sasser, Brad Dale, Will Fleming's in the middle. It'll be Lance Hughes at one guard and Lenny Holly the other guard. Middleton, Lyson, Scott, Brown, and Kane for St. John's. And Billy, this is the first time these two squads are meeting ever. Today's officials, Bob Garibaldi, Harold Allen, and Ronald Richardson.
St. John's considerably deeper, considerably bigger. Do you have to give an advantage at all to Texas Tech is that they've got great perimeter shooting.
And a little quickness from the corner. And give the basket to Fred Lyson, the freshman for St. John's, putting the Redmen on the board first.
In the loss against Syracuse just last week, Lyson in the second half hit big from the outside. It's an important ingredient for St. John's to spread the defense.
Hughes losing it, but regaining control back inbounds. And Sasser off the mark, rebounded by Brown. Derek Brown.
Lyson off again down in the corner.
Kane off the front of the iron, gets his own rebound, blocked by Holly, and a loose ball grabbed by Brad Dale.
And if there's any difference in this St. John's team of past clubs, it's that they will look to run.
And this is what they're doing now. Kane over to Lyson.
Nice look by Lyson. Middleton didn't have anything inside to work with. Dale on him well, so he got it back out to start the offense.
An example of what you call a good basketball decision. Inside to Shawnell Scott. Scott, turnaround. Billy, he really ought to be able to exploit that advantage on the inside.
Well, Flemings has given up. They list Flemings at 6'7". I think he's pushing to say he's 6'7". Scott, a solid 6'10", could have an advantage there. Flemings will have to take him out some to get good position.
5-0 St. John's lead just underway here at Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Holly way off the mark. So Texas Tech a little ragged in the early going, trying to find its stride.
Brown, good dish.
Out of bounds, and it'll stay at this end of the floor, St. John's ball. Lamont Middleton been struggling with a hip pointer sustained against Boston College in the Big East tournament. Says it's okay, though, Billy. And certainly okay as a shooting touch of Fred Lyson.
Lyson's been a starter, only shooting at 40% on the year, but lighting it up here early.
Second basket of the afternoon for Lyson. He's got 5 of the 7 points by St. John's. This is Hughes for 3, rebounded by Kane.
I think it's really important for Texas Tech to go down inside the Flemings, and you can see right away Coach Dickey going to call a timeout, settle things down.
So with the slam by Derek Brown, James Dickey wants to talk it over.
I want to find out. I want to find a way out.
When the camera starts to roll, even one flake of dandruff can ruin it all. That's why I use Head & Shoulders. You know, it's even better than it was just a couple of years ago. Today, it gets to 10 times more of the places dandruff starts. Because great hair can't have flakes.
You can go all out. You don't have to smell like it. The Old Spice fights wetness, kills bacteria, so it works. The proof? She's all the proof I need.
Old Spice Anti-Perspirant for great odor protection. Demand proof, not promises.
Too many businesses today leave their customers up in the air. But Allstate is different. Your Allstate agent's job is to keep you secure for years to come. To stick by you so that you stay with Allstate for your car insurance and home insurance. For years. For life. You're in good hands with Allstate.
There's a luxury car so exclusive, many people don't even know about it. Only a certain number are produced each year. Their owners enjoy an incredible level of quiet and impeccable road manners. But despite all efforts, word is getting out. Which means now, probably everybody's going to want one. It's your money.
If If your spouse was accused of poisoning your child,
I didn't kill my baby.
would you believe she was innocent?
I never stopped loving you.
Lisa Hartman Black, Without a Kiss Goodbye, Sunday.
Back inside of the Coliseum, and for those of you expecting to see those two games listed on your screen, rest assured we will get you to the start of those games on time. Right now, St. John's and Texas Tech.
Excellent setup right there by Coach Dickey, and the fact that Flemings came out, set the solid screen to take Scott outside. Certainly capable of hitting the three. Flemings this year made 11 of them, shooting 52% from the three-point line, and JB, an excellent call.
And there's James Dickey, an excellent young coach, Billy, in his second season at the helm here. First head coaching job, Southwestern Conference Coach of the Year. And he really drew that play up fine. Will Flemings, who normally plays in the inside, likes to take that outside shot.
And what that'll open up is some penetration for Sasser and Hughes as well. Straight man-to-man. And there's a case where I think that Fleming's going to have trouble all day. You notice how he's playing right behind Chanel Scott. He's very difficult, giving up a good 3 or 4 inches to be able to block off anything. Good pivot inside move, though, by Flemings, trying to get position.
Second basket of the afternoon for Scott. This is Flemings from outside again, and Flemings with the three. Will Flemings, averaging 20 points on the season, likes to shoot from behind the three.
I think if you're St. John's, considering the fact that Flemings will play 37 minutes a game, you want to go ahead and bang as much as possible, keep him occupied on both ends of the floor. I think we should go down inside to Chanel Scott early, try to get some kind of foul trouble against him.
As they say on the playground, Billy, I mean, milk Chanel Scott for all he's worth to try and tire Flemings out.
Straight man, sloughing off on Dale.
And Dale hitting a 2, put on the line. So Texas Tech, after that timeout by James Dickey, playing a lot more inspired basketball, down now 11-8 to St. John's, 16:25 left in the first half of play.
Dale stepping out of the perimeter, only has made 1 3-pointer all year, but he was in excellent position there to get a shot straight away.
And the lefty, Derek Brown, finds the range for St. John's, 13-8, the Redmen on top.
Holly pushing it up, that'll help an awful lot if they can push it up and not get stuck against a superior size. How about that? 3 outside shots by Will Flemings. Does he open up the court in a hurry? They go from 9-0 to 13-11 on the presence of him stepping outside. And again, go back to that timeout by Coach Dickey to set up that play.
And Middleton camming the 2 for St. John's. We mentioned that Flemings likes to take that outside shot. He has 11 three-pointers on the season. That is coming into the game. 3 today. He's got 14. 14 three-pointers.
Good quick defense on Brown. A lot of back screens, and there was a case of a back screen set. St. John's was waiting for the switch, and the screener just peeled back inside. Excellent play.
And a good pass by Holly. Lenny Holly, the freshman.
Little zone defense now being played. Going to see if St. John's wants to go outside. Matching up out of the 2-3. Flemings patrolling the middle. Cross court to Brown if it's available.
There it is. Shot not there, but Scott with the rebound. St. John's in a very controlled half-court set. And Billy, this is where you indicated St. John's ought to be able to take advantage. Spin move by Middleton. Travel call. Now, Middleton a little upset, saying that he was actually smacked in the face by Jason Sasser underneath.
JB probably didn't take the easy shot. You know, he had it on one side of the basket. You can tell that Texas Tech's not a shot-blocking team.
Hughes off the front of the iron. Kane with the rebound.
Middleton hustling. Well, David got hit on the hand that time. He's complaining to the referee, no question about it. He was hit right below the elbow.
Ryan Mahoney, first year as a head coach at St. John's after 16 seasons as an assistant to Luke Harner second. Also, coach of the year in his conference in the Big East.
No block out.
And that's crucial, Billy, because Texas Tech does have some quickness.
Good job by Sasser, realizing he had nothing on the inside, got it back outside, and Holly flipped inside. Freshman to freshman.
First basket of the afternoon for Jason Sasser, and it's a tie ball game.
Smith, Holly, and Sasser. 3 all-newcomer first-teamers in the Southwest Conference. First time ever that happened for one team.
Good follow by Chanel Scott. Well, that certainly ought to bode well for the future, Billy.
Certainly should.
Foul called underneath. Fred Lyson. For those of you viewers looking for the Kansas Ball State ball game, we will get you to that tip on time at 12:35. Rest assured, on time starts and tips.
Luke in.
Sergio Luke replacing Fred Lyson. Lyson has scored more than a season average. 5 points already. He's averaging 4 on the year.
Good rub off by Sasser, using Flemings outside to set the screen.
Middleton got a hand on it. Rebounded by Scott.
I think Flemings got hit on the arm as well. Boy, is he banging inside with Middleton. They stay in the zone, being more active. Chanel Scott's going to be open on the weak side.
Brown.
There he is.
And a clear-out foul being called on Chanel Scott, trying to use his size to his advantage, but a little too much pushing.
JB, what happened right there? Flemings is trying to patrol everything in the middle. He's the only guy with any bulk whatsoever. So Chanel set up on the weak side and was in perfect position for a putback, but he reached in on the foul. Now it's Middleton playing Flemings. The switch there is because they figure Flemings going to move outside. Now Scott's not going to have to worry about that. He's playing Dale, who should go by him.
And also not nearly as quick a foot.
Right.
Sasser. Blocked, rebounded by Middleton. Here comes Kane.
Now David is pulled up for some short jumpers. Nice pass.
And a good decision also, Billy, as Kane stayed out, leaving the real estate enough there for Scott to operate with.
Well, as JB pointed out, there's a game you're looking for. We're about to send you to that game, St. John's and Texas Tech, 1915. We'll keep you up to date on that one, but we're going to go out to the Midwest and follow the bouncing ball to Rosemont. Ball State and Kansas, you're in good hands with Vern Lundquist and Clark Kellogg and Ball State.
All right, Patrick, we're at the Rosemont Horizon, the outskirts of Chicago, Illinois. A first-round game in the Midwest region. Ball State and Kansas meeting for the first time ever. Later this evening here at the Rosemont, California takes on LSU, and Duke will meet Southern Illinois. The second game here this afternoon will feature Brigham Young University against SMU, but we are concerned right now with second-seeded Kansas and 15th-ranked Ball State. Good afternoon, everybody. Vern Lundquist along with Clark Kellogg. Clark, the Jayhawks came in a bit limping. They were 9-5 in their last 14 games after jumping out to a 16-1 record early in the season.
Well, they've won 4 of their last 5, but they've been a little banged up. 2 of their key players, 2 of their starters, as a matter of fact, Eric Pauly and Adonis Jordan. Both of those guys are playing with injuries. Pauly has been bothered by patella tendonitis in his knee and also a sprained knee. Adonis Jordan has a slight stress fracture of his tibia, and he's only at about 85% effectiveness.
Many of us remember the Ball State Cardinals in 1990 when they went out to Salt Lake and made it to the round of the Sweet 16. This is obviously not the same team, but out of the Mid-American Conference, they are a team that can contend against Kansas.
They're dangerous because they defend and they make their free throws, but they've got 2 of their top 3 scorers that come off the bench, although Jamie Matthews, one of those 2 players, will start today. Jamal Sylvester, their leading scorer, and he comes off the bench.
There's Jamal Sylvester. He is the first man into the lineup off the bench, and one of the leaders of a Ball State team that is 26-7. Now let's check the lineups for both teams. First of all, for the Ball State Cardinals on the left, it'll be Steve Payne and Bill Gillis, along with Marquis James, number 11, David Hall, number 12, and Jamie Matthews, who had 31 points in the last outing. He will get his second start in the last 25 games. He did begin the season as a starter. For the Kansas Jayhawks, who come in 25-6, Darren Hancock and Richard Scott open at forwards. The center, though he is limping, is Eric Pauly, and an outstanding backcourt, Rex Walters and Adonis Jordan. There is Roy Williams, the 42-year-old head coach of the University of Kansas, and in his 4th season as head coach of Ball State, Dick Hunsaker, a graduate of Weber State in Utah. What kind of a game do you expect, Clark, from a tempo perspective?
Well, I would think Ball State wants to keep it in the 50s or 60s. Kansas would love to play it in the 70s. They'd like to create some points off their defense. Ball State, on the other hand, will defend you tough, rebound the basketball, and then use some of the shot clock. So tempo is going to be a very important part of this game. I really think, though, the backcourt is going to be critical at both ends of the floor.
Three-man officiating crew. There's a look at Dick Hunsaker. And the officiating crew includes James Armstrong, Sean Corbin, and longtime veteran official Lenny Wirtz. Winner of this game gets either Brigham Young or SMU. They meet in the second game here at the Rosemont Horizon. And a very good crowd on hand for this first game of the 4 today. There's Darren Hancock, who had retina scratched in both eyes earlier in the season, so he is wearing the protective goggles.
You know, he's only scored double digits once since he had that corrective surgery done and since he's been wearing the goggles.
Ball State controls. It's Steve Payne. He goes back to Jamie Matthews, the 5'10", 160-pound senior from New Washington, Indiana. This is David Hall, the entry pass, turnaround jumper, short, rebound. Comes down to Steve Payne. Quickly, Adonis Georgian brings it up, trying to force the tempo.
That's what Kansas wants to do. They'll run off makes as well as misses.
Richard Scott off the pass from Darren Hancock. We are tied at 2. Good defensive job now by Richard Scott.
Here you take a look at Kansas throwing the ball inside over the top. No pressure on the basketball. Scott able to get to the basket easily.
2-2 ball game early on. Steve Payne, a sophomore who was all-conference first team this year in the Mid-American Conference. Nice pass. Wonderful pass, and then the shot is no good for Marquis James, number 11. Kansas with the ball. Jordan, left side to Rex Walters. Turnaround from Paulie, no. Steve Payne rebound.
Boy, Steve Payne is a big-time rebounder.
And there's a foul called on Richard Scott. Shooting foul. And that will send Bill Gillis to the line.
When you rebound the ball cleanly at the defensive end, you have an opportunity to get out and get numbers. Steve Payne has averaged 12 rebounds a game over his last 7 and initiated a fast break opportunity there for the Cardinals.
Bill Gillis not adept at free throw shooting, less than 60%, but gets the first of 2. And Ball State takes the lead.
I would have to think Ball State is pretty confident. They've won 11 of their last 13. They feel like they match up pretty well with Kansas all the way around. So I would think they feel they've got a great chance to upset Kansas because Kansas has struggled of late.
Top of the key, Paulie hits the jumper. And it's a 4-3 Kansas lead. It's been fascinating to me in the couple of days we've been here how much of that kind of talk one hears.
Yeah, it certainly was filtering around quite a bit as we watched everybody practice yesterday.
That ball off the hands of Jamie Matthews. It'll be Kansas to inbound. Hancock will throw it into Adonis Jordan. This is an injury that he has suffered that has not kept him out of the lineup, but has obviously hampered him, you think.
Well, those are the worst kind of injuries to have as a player. Injuries that aren't enough to keep you from playing, but certainly are enough to keep you from being at your best. And that's been the case for Jordan this season.
Rex Walters, a nice mid-air adjustment with a shot. It falls. He's fouled. Walters, who has played here once before. That was when he was a starter for the Northwestern University Wildcats. And they faced DePaul. Of course, Rex Walters, as I think most of you who are watching know, transferred back to Kansas. He's from California. With his tongue firmly implanted in his cheek, they asked him why Kansas. He said, well, he wanted to get closer to home.
Well, that is a little closer.
7-3, Kansas will press. Let's see how fervently they press.
Well, one of the keys for Ball State is how they handle the changing defenses of Kansas. For the first time seeing full court pressure, you know Kansas will put great pressure on the basketball and force you to make basketball plays. You've got to be strong with the ball and make your shots when they make themselves available.
Foul called away from the ball. Foul is on Hancock, Darren Hancock, his first. That'll be the second team foul. And Jamie Matthews will inbound now. Matthews, the son of a high school coach. He played for him for 4 years. Dad, Jim. Walters goes for the steal. Marquis James controls for Ball State. 7-3, Kansas. Blocked by Pauly. Quick catch and a release to Walters. Here's Jordan at the other end. Walters gets the rebound. Good defensive job by Steve Payne. Ball State thinks about it and slows it down. Now Matthews, three-pointer. Hancock rebound. Kansas in transition. Jordan travels. Watch Eric Pauly defensively.
Well, James going to get inside and beat Walters, but good help here by Pauly to come over from the weak side and deny James the opportunity inside.
Patrick Ritchie is coming in now, number 12. And Steve Woodbury has also come in the lineup, number 20, who may be the best sixth man in America.
He is truly outstanding. He's kind of like a potato in that he gives you everything. He can be a French fry for you. He can be mashed. He can be baked or boiled. He's the kind of guy that does a little bit of everything.
That was a terrific pass from Matthews underneath, and 2 points for Ball State. Here's Ritchie muscling his way for the basket. And Payne with a rebound.
Boy, Payne really aggressive going to both backboards. And when he gets it, you don't get it away from him.
7-5, Kansas leads with 16:54 remaining. Matthews, nice pass to the left, and Marquis James penetrates and gets the tying score.
You know, both of these teams play the motion game in their half-court offenses, which means you have an opportunity to do a lot of freelancing. It's all about reacting and reading the defense, and that time Ball State did a nice job getting inside.
Good soft jumper from Pauly with a turnaround. Eric Pauly, 6'10" center out of California. 9-7. Kansas on top. That shot too strong from David Hall, but the follow from Payne goes in. Steve Payne gets 2. We're tied at 9. Pauly goes to his right. Shot is short. Ball State will have the ball when we return. The time has been called. We are tied at 9.
Baby Ruth, baby Ruth.
My baby's beautiful. It looks a lot divine, but if it didn't look so funky,
Well, it wouldn't taste so fine. If it didn't look so funky, it wouldn't taste so fine.
come on with your peanuts.
Well, it's all the stuff I crave.
They make it lumpy, make it bumpy.
But they make it my fame. If it didn't look so funky, it wouldn't taste so fine. Baby Ruth, baby Ruth. Go!
Imagine a deodorant that keeps a man feeling as clean and fresh as this, all through the day. Well, this is it. Introducing New Band for Men. Clean and fresh because it goes on clear. And New Band for Men sets up a clear shield of protection against odor. Actually fights odor for a full 24 hours. Feel this clean. Feel this fresh. Try New Clear Band for Men deodorant.
You have better things to do than having to think about how much you're paying for long distance.
I don't want to spend a lot of time on this stuff.
So AT&T makes it easy. With the I plan, you get a good deal no matter how you call. No lists, names, or hassles. I is for simple. To switch to AT&T free, call 1-800-582-7800. I is for individual, only from AT&T.
You can have a great beef dinner in no time at all. Well, almost no time at all. Beef. It's what's for dinner.
At the Baton Rouge Fire Department, it wouldn't be breakfast without biscuits and gravy and CBS This Morning with Paula and Harry. CBS This Morning, breakfast for your head.
We're at 9 squared after the first break. Look at Steve Payne challenge the shot and then eat the glass. He did that at the defensive end, and take a look at him here showing you excellent timing as he gets to the offensive glass and gives his team 2 points.
Ball State has its starting 5 with the exception of 1 on the court, Jamal Harris, who has the ball now. He's the leading scorer on the team at 14 points per game coming off the bench. This is Harris driving for the shot and hitting it. And Ball State takes a 2-point edge. Sylvester, beg your pardon. Underneath, Ostertag, who is off the bench for Kansas. Calvin Rayford is also in, along with Walters and Woodbury. And Richard Scott. Walters for 3.
Boy, a nice screen that time by Steve Woodbury to free Walters for that triple.
And it's 12-11 Kansas. Here's Calvin Rayford at 5'6" on the 5'10" Jamie Matthews.
Now, both of those are program heights. Right. So let's knock about 1.5 inches off both. Rayford brings tremendous quickness and defensive pressure on the ball to the lineup when he gets on the floor.
Jamal Sylvester, Harris defensively, and is thrown away. It'll be Kansas inbound. Now Adonis Jordan quickly back into the lineup, and Calvin Rayford goes to the bench. Marquis James comes back in now for Ball State. He replaces David Hall. It's 11 for 12. And on the scoreboard, it's 12-11. Kansas over Ball State. Ostertag, a 7'2" sophomore from Duncanville, Texas. Richard Scott works hard for the shot, and he'll shoot a couple of free throws. There's Jermel Sylvester. That's his first, second team foul, third team foul.
One of the things I think Kansas has to do today is establish an up-tempo game, but when they don't have opportunities in transition, they've got to look inside to this guy, Richard Scott, who's very good at scoring in the paint and also drawing fouls, although he doesn't typically pay great dividends at the stripe.
48% would be evidence of that. You're being very kind.
Well, I thought not paying dividends was as good a way to say that as any.
He does get 1 of 2, which is right on his season average. And it's a 13-11 Kansas lead over Ball State.
Well, Ball State doing just what they wanted to do here early, Vern, and that's play close, not turn the basketball over.
Excellent defensive job underneath, done by Steve Woodbury, number 20.
Well, he gives you everything. He can rebound, he can score, he defends, he makes big plays for you. He truly is probably their most valuable player when you consider all the elements he brings to the table.
Jump hook from Ostertag. Nice shot.
Now, this guy has been somewhat of an enigma in that he shows you flashes of brilliance, like that's a nice looking shot there, but other times he's not much of a factor. He's their best per minute rebounder, but he too has been banged up. He had a stress fracture earlier and is suffering with some tendonitis in both of his knees as well.
Jamie Hall's shot is too strong, with the rebound put back by Bill Gillis, and it's a 15-13 lead for Kansas. Entry pass from Adonis Jordan. Nice spin move by Richard Scott. Gets the basket, shoots a free throw. It all began with the entry pass from Jordan. Number 30. Now Darren Hancock and Eric Pauly come in. Ostertag and Woodbury will go out for Kansas, while Richard Scott tries to get the three-point play.
Well, I talked a little bit about Scott, how good he is inside. Look, he's not in a hurry here. Patient, strong base, good ball fake, and strong to the cup.
Foul was on Steve Payne, his first. Scott increases the Jayhawk lead to 5 at 18-13. And Steve Turner, number 42, enters the game from the Ball State bench. There's Turner, a senior from Anderson, Indiana.
Another big body. See, Scott has caught the ball twice now on the last 2 possessions inside. Dick Hunsaker saying we need some more size out there to kind of counteract what Scott has been able to do the last 2 trips.
Matthews. Loose ball. Saved by Ball State. Sylvester gets rid of it. 25 on the shot clock. Marquis James drives. Foul called on Rex Walters. Kansas on a 9-2 run right now.
Kansas personal Cummins foul, 23, Rex.
Foul is on Walters, his first, and the 3rd team foul on the Jayhawks. 18-13 with 13:06 to go, first half. Winner of this game gets either Brigham Young or SMU in the 2nd round here at the Rosemont Horizon. Marquis James, Gillis with the putback after a very strong rebounding effort.
Excellent play by Gillis, using all of that 6'8", 240 pounds to get one up and down inside.
Hancock with the dish. Gillis with a rebound. So he's doing it at both ends. 3-point Kansas edge.
Well, I think you've got to reward Bill Gillis if you can. After the work he's done on the glass, try to look for him inside and give him an opportunity to go to work.
They're being fronted by Richard Scott right now. They can't get to him. Here's Sylvester with a jumper. It's good.
He loves that baseline area. He is a smooth slasher.
Sylvester, born in Chicago, now lives in South Bend, Indiana. There's Jordan for 3, tipped out. Walters saves it for Kansas. Scott got it.
Richard Scott getting busy inside, showing us some variety.
Marquis James and Jamie Matthews are the guards for Ball State. Jamal Sylvester, Turner, and Gillis, the taller men on the floor right now. Nice pass to Sylvester and an equally nice shot.
Talking to a couple of the beat writers for Ball State, they said Sylvester loves to get his work done along the baseline area, and certainly that's the case here early.
Matthews doubled down and almost got caught. As Jordan goes for the three-pointer, it rims out, and a foul is called now on Marquis James.
You take a look at Sylvester using the pick of Bill Gillis to get loose on the baseline. They're strong. Used his body so well there to avoid Paulie, who's not much of a shot blocker anyway. But this guy here, Jamal Sylvester, can put points on the board in a hurry, especially when he catches it in that comfort zone of the baseline area.
Last foul was on Marquis James, his second. 4th team foul on Rex Walters, who is an outstanding free throw shooter, is at the line.
Yeah, he could end up being the best free throw shooter in Kansas history for his career if he continues to shoot them at 85%.
Well, that's his 93rd successful free throw this season out of 107.
Two-time All-Big 8 performer.
He gets them both, and the Jayhawks increase their lead to 3 with 11:11 to go first half.
May I help you?
Oh, I got right through. Yeah, here's what I need.
4 tickets.
I need
2 tickets. How many tickets?
2 tickets, 7, 8 o'clock, 5.
Central.
Yeah.
That will be fine. Thank you.
Right.
When tickets for the largest concert tour ever held in North America went on sale, Ticketmaster relied on Sprint's 800 service to do the job. Hey, if Sprint can handle all this, it can certainly work for you, too.
You said you wanted a change in this country. The new meatloaf sandwich at Burger King. I love this place. Have you ever made meatloaf like this?
Melt in your mouth.
Not in my house. Flame broiled meatloaf topped with ketchup and raw onions on a sesame seed bun.
It's delicious.
Now there's a new flame broiled meatloaf sandwich. Your way, right away. And you can get the new meatloaf sandwich as part of the dinner basket at Burger King. I love this place, and I love it even more
Because she doesn't have to cook.
RCA 52-inch projection screen home theater. It's bigger and brighter than almost anything out there. Now, get up to $100 back on selected RCA home theater televisions.
It's not just a high-performance tire. It's a Michelin. So it does things ordinary tires just can't do. The XGT series from Michelin. Because so much is riding on your tires.
Chris and Rita, rookie cops shaking down Miami.
Hold it!
Their specialty, crimes of passion. Silk Stockings tonight on CBS Late Night.
22-19, Kansas leads it. Vern Lundquist along with Clark Kellogg as KU takes on Ball State in the first game from the Rosemont Horizon. Second game here, Brigham Young against SMU. The winner of that game gets the winner of this one. Field goal percentage, Kansas above 50%, and one tiny footnote to their slump is that they have not hit better than 50% from the field since January the 30th.
Yeah, it's been a while, and when they do shoot 50% or better, they're 15-0.
Shot too strong. Marquis James, the footback, no. And it'll be off Kansas. Ball State will inbound.
One of the things I talked about earlier is that Ball State had to handle the basketball well. They've done that. And they also needed to compete inside with Kansas. And so far in the first 9 minutes, they've been able to rebound effectively at both ends of the floor.
Patrick Ritchie has come in for the Jayhawks. There's a whistle and a foul away from the ball that's going to be called on Ritchie. Steve Payne has checked back in as well, number 34 for Ball State. That's Ritchie's first, and it's the fourth team foul on the Jayhawks. Let's check those who are on the court now. Hardwick has the ball, number 20. An usual starter for Ball State. He gave way to Jamie Matthews today. So it's Sylvester with the ball now, Marquis James, Hardwick, Turner, and Steve Payne, the five on the floor for Ball State.
Pretty good spacing here in their motion game. That's one of the key elements to being successful running the passing game. Good spacing, good ball reversals, good movement with and without the basketball.
Meanwhile, Roy Williams is giving his starters some rest. He's got Greg Gurley in the ball game for the first time, and Hardwick goes by Gurley, then pump fakes and puts it up over him and gets the basket.
Good pressure that time defensively, and the way you beat pressure defensively is by putting the ball on the floor. That's what Marwick did there and got himself an easy shot. I'm sorry, Hardwick. Take a look. See, Gurley gambles and gets beat. Then a nice ball fake by Hardwick here. And then he's got himself squared, on balance. Mark it up. Let's go back and play D.
Last foul was on Turner. That's 5 team fouls on Ball State. Pauly comes in, and Adonis Jordan back in the lineup. Here's Rex Walters for 3. He's got 11. He's the first player in double digits today. And the lead is 25-21, Kansas. Jamie Matthews is checked back in, number 15. Steve Turner, baseline jumper, good. A 2-point game. 9:20 remaining, first half. Pauly.
That's what he brings to the table, Vern. The ability at 6'10" to step out and shoot the jump shot, which means your big guy has to come out and challenge him out there, and that'll open up things inside for Richard Scott when he's on the floor.
27-23 is our score. Adonis Jordan. Three-pointer, no. Steve Payne with a rebound.
Who else?
That's 6 rebounds for Payne already. Shot from Hardwick is too strong. 27-23, 8:25 to go first half. Jordan. Woodbury, skip pass, Pauly. Perfect.
How about the impact Woodbury's had, and he has not scored a basket.
Right.
Has not scored a hoop, but he's come up with nice screens, deflections, and then the nice loop to Eric Pauley inside.
29-23. Steal from Pauley. Jordan, it's 2-on-2. Basket count, shoot the free throw.
One of the things that can happen when you play good defense as a team is that you have tremendous spurt ability. Kansas, because they pressure the basketball so well, they're able to get hoops like this. They get a deflection. Jordan in transition uses the window nicely, and Matthews commits the foul.
That is the first foul for Jamie Matthews, and Adonis Jordan goes to the free throw line, where he's hitting 80% for the year.
Well, we talked about how critical it was for Ball State to handle the basketball and control tempo. For the last few possessions, they've gotten a little quick and a little careless with the ball, and Kansas has made them pay.
Now Jordan with a chance to increase the lead to 9. This little run has put the Jayhawks up by 9 at 31-23 with time called.
The NCAA Women's Final Four, April 3rd on CBS.
Obviously, there is a new style. Definitely a new priority. Most importantly, an improvement in the economy. And without a doubt, a changing of the guard.
Just a hoot and a holler from Nashville's Grand Ole Opry is another place that's home to musicians from all over the world. It's Groon Guitars, where they sell rare and vintage instruments to everyone from Johnny Cash to Motley Crue. So if you go, remember, bring your pick and your Visa card. Because at Groon, you can take your licks on a 1939 Martin, but you can't take it home with American Express.
Yeah.
Visa, it's everywhere you want to be.
Baby Ruth, baby Ruth. My baby isn't beautiful, it looks a lot divine, but if it didn't look so funky, well, it wouldn't taste so fine. If it didn't look so funky, it wouldn't taste so fine. Yo! Baby! Come on with your peanuts. Well, it's all the stuff I crave. They make it lumpy, make it bumpy. Oh, but they make it my fave. If it didn't look so funky, it wouldn't taste so fine. Baby Ruth, baby Ruth. Yo!
Hey, I'm vain. Of course I'm vain. That's why I comb my hair the way I do. I stay in shape the way I do. That's why I use Power Stick.
50% more wetness and odor fighters per stroke. Power Stick by Fabergé. Power that won't let you down.
I told you I was vain.
There is a sound you'll hear in the triangle below Canal Street. It's the sound of German being spoken by those who are moved by the art. In your town, America, and the world, Beck's, the #1 imported German beer.
You are watching the NCAA Basketball Championship on CBS.
Kansas Jayhawks have spurted to a 9-point edge, and they've done so, Clark, by converting turnovers into baskets.
Well, there you see +9 in the points off the turnovers, and that is the difference in the ball game at this point.
32-23 with 7:45 remaining first half.
One of the few critical junctures in the ball game right now for Ball State, because they've been run on, and now they need a hoop.
And they turn to Steve Payne, and they get it. Galvin Rayford back in the lineup. Ostertag as well, so also is Gurley. And that ball chased down by Marquis James. Ball State, good penetration by James. The basket goes. An offensive foul called as Ostertag had planted his body in the paint.
Well, here you see James coming right at us, and Ostertag giving up all of that body that's just...
Ball State is over the limit.
32-27 Kansas. They had a 9-point lead, just cut to 5 on 2 quick baskets by Ball State. Ball State in red and Kansas in white. It's a number 2 seed Kansas team taking on a 15 seed Ball State. And at the line, this is Greg Ostertag, who was just fouled on the offensive foul by Marquis James, and Ostertag misses the free throw. Vern Lundquist along with Clark Kellogg, Eric Pauley, the starting center, on the bench now for the Kansas Jayhawks. Payne got it. Boy, he has played a heck of a first half.
He really has. He's already got close to double-digit boards and has scored 2 big buckets here as Ball State has cut a 9-point deficit to only 3.
At the baseline, Richard Scott counters for the Jayhawks.
Ball State has yet to find an answer for Scott down along the baseline and in the paint area. He's got 10 already.
That ball tipped by Jordan, saved. No, he was on the line. And Ball State will have it back. First meeting ever between these two teams. Kansas came in ranked 7th in the country, 25-6 season record, but they lost in the Big 8 tournament to Kansas State. Ball State with a 26-7 mark. Steve Payne too strong. Loose ball chased down by Jamal Sylvester. Nice play. Ostertag. Off Ball State. Kansas gets it. Richard Scott rubbing his hip. And he'll get a rest. Patrick Ritchie comes into the lineup for the Jayhawks.
Both of these teams have pretty good depth. Both of these teams play an awful lot of people. Kansas will play 9 to 10, as will Ball State. So everybody should be pretty fresh throughout.
Ritchie, they're going to give him the shot, but he doesn't want it.
And he's not a bad three-point shooter.
Jordan. And the foul underneath on David Gillis. Bill Gillis, rather. Field goal percentage, both teams excellent thus far.
Well, both teams do a nice job running their half-court offense, and neither team really has forced any shots. Each team has taken the kind of shots they want to take, and when you do that, you're going to make more than you miss.
Ostertag out, Eric Pauley back in. That last foul on Gillis is the 8th team foul, so we go to 1-1. Kansas with a huge edge at the line thus far. And Ritchie increases that total, and it's back to a 6-point lead.
One of the other keys in any game is always the game within the game, the free throw game. And Kansas does a nice job of getting themselves to the line because they move so well without the ball. And they've got a guy like Scott who makes a habit of catching it in there and drawing fouls.
Back to a 7-point edge. This is Jamie Matthews, number 15.
A half-court trap here, 1-3-1, shown by Kansas after the made free throws. You've got to attack this at the baseline. See, the baseline is available if you put 2 guys down there because there's only 1 guy running the baseline for Kansas.
Ball is kicked out of bounds. That'll be a fresh 45. They tried to get Sylvester working on the baseline.
That's his comfort zone. He loves that area. Has the nice honey sweet stroke and the slashing moves that get him to the basket from that area as well.
Sylvester gets it inbound to Jamie Matthews. 5:35 to go first half. 36-29. Jumper's good.
Right on cue, Jamal.
He's got 8. And the lead is 5 for Kansas. Jordan and Ritchie, Pauley, Woodbury, and Rex Walters.
See, we don't always jinx the guys when we talk about it. Talking about how Sylvester moves so well along the baseline, beats Jordan with the dribble, and then gets it up and over the extended hands of Eric Pauley.
5-point edge, 36-31.
Well, Ball State really did a nice job about 3 minutes ago after Kansas had gotten the lead up to 9 to hang right in there.
And they come back on that Matthews jumper, 36-33 the score. Pauley for 2. He's got a nice stroke, doesn't he, Clark?
He really does, Vern. And that's a great time to shoot the open 17-footer. You push the ball ahead. Big guys don't want to run out to the top of the circle to guard a big guy. So if you come down as the last man and you've got Pauley's touch, you got a chance to get yourself 2 points.
38-33, 4:35 to go, first half of play. First meeting ever, Kansas out of Lawrence and Ball State from Muncie, Indiana. And we'll shoot free throws for Ball State now. Take a look at Eric Pauly on that last basket.
So you can look at it from behind. Jordan pushes it ahead. Pauly, the last man in the middle of your screen. See all the 5 red shirts in the paint area? That means Pauly's got a good look at the free throw lane jumper. Mark it up. We're going back to play D.
Eric Pauly re-injured a knee in practice 2 days ago, and it wasn't until he warmed up that they were certain he could play today.
It's a day-to-day situation. As you take a look at Adonis Jordan, he too playing a little banged up. He has a fractured tibia in his left leg. Actually, it's closer to the ankle area. And I had a chance to chat with him prior to the game, and he said, don't talk about it as an excuse, but clearly I'm at about 85%, and it's been that way pretty much all year long. And it's affected me more defensively because he can't put the pressure on that foot to really slide and be aggressive at the defensive end.
Bill Gillis gets 1 of 2 for Ball State. It's 38-34. Walters looks inside for Ritchie. Now Hancock. Rayford. Walters with a 3-point jump shot is good. And Rex Walters has 14 first half points, 9 of them on 3-pointers.
He's been on a rip lately, Vern. 20 points a game in his last 4, and he always has the eye of the tiger. You can't give him any space. When he catches it, if you're defending him, you have to crowd him and make him put it on the floor.
Back to a 7-point edge. Matthews, jumper off balance. Foul away from the ball, I believe. Let's see.
I think they may have called Rayford.
They did.
The 2 little fellas going at each other.
Rayford with the foul, and Matthews will shoot free throws, where he's an 85% free throw shooter. Matthews, who for the course of the season is averaging 11.4, but 31 his last game, and he misfires on that shot. As a twin brother, Scott played high school ball with him. Gets 1 of the 2, and the lead is 6. 41-35. Kansas leads.
State Farm presents the rules of the game.
When a player is about to shoot a free throw, there are several restrictions on the other players. Why does the official call a violation in this play?
When David and Lisa Edmondson needed life insurance, they came to see me. I'm Kent Spearman, their State Farm agent. I help the Edmondsons put together a life insurance plan that works for them and their budget. And I stay in touch as their needs grow and change because that plan has to work for their children, Rachel and Travis, too. If you want life insurance that works for you, get an agent who works for you. Get yourself a State Farm agent.
State Farm sells life insurance.
After the ball is placed at the disposal of the free thrower, the players not in the marked lane space must be behind the free throw line extended and the 3-point field goal line until the ball hits the rim or backboard.
Rules of the Game has been sponsored by State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Dear Midas, as a woman, I often feel mechanics don't bother to talk to me.
You wouldn't understand.
But at Midas, I was treated with courtesy.
I'm Brett Foster. How can I help you?
And when I explained that I needed my car but did not have a lot of money, your inspection report was explained to me.
This shows you the repair options you can choose from.
Thanks for treating me as a person capable of understanding my car. Jane Robinson.
It has been a well-played first half, and that's reflected in the field goal percentage. Ball State at 57%, Kansas 63. Kansas with an edge at the free throw line. Walters with 14 points, and Sylvester the leading scorer thus far, as he has been all year for the Cardinals of Ball State. 3:49 to go before halftime. Coming up at the half, Prudential Securities at the half with Pat O'Brien and Mike Francesa. 3:40 to go until then. Rayford. We are at the Rosemont Horizon outside Chicago, Illinois. Kansas in the red and white uniforms, the second seed leading Ball State. They had as much as a 9-point edge at 32-23. Ball State cut it back to within 3. It's now at 6, 41-35. And this is Ball State with the ball. First meeting ever between these two teams. Matthews guarded by Calvin Rayford. Steve Payne gets it back to Matthews.
Well, nice trap out here by Ritchie and Rayford.
And a foul is called along the baseline.
Well, they didn't quite squeeze that trap enough. Matthews was able to wiggle free and create an opportunity for himself. See, Paulie comes out. Ritchie actually Paulie interfered with Ritchie, and that gave Matthews room along the baseline. And I guess we had a bump on Paulie, I guess.
Yes, it was on Paulie. It is his second personal foul. Matthews shoots the 1-and-1. Gets the first, and that cuts it to a 5-point edge. Matthews in his senior season. And it's a 4-point edge. Rayford forcing the tempo.
Well, I'm very impressed with how Ball State, well, he can't catch that. Nobody touched it.
No foul, no traveling call. Hunsaker's going nuts in the face of Lenny Wirtz. How in the world can Lenny Wirtz miss that one?
Well, he certainly wants to know. Dick Hunsaker almost snapped his neck.
Al, as well as James Armstrong and Sean Corbin, it was fairly obvious that the sight lines weren't hampered for anybody. Sylvester's shot, no. 43-37. Hunsaker is going to get back up and give Lenny Wirtz an earful.
Well, anytime you get that official parked in front of you like that as a coach, you take full advantage of it.
Ball State with the turnover. Matthews got it. 2 minutes to go before halftime. Ritchie, this time he controls the ball, but the shot is short. And a chance to cut the lead to 2 or 1 with a three-pointer. Matthews, foul on Rayford. And let's go back just a couple of seconds ago to Ritchie and Hunsaker.
Well, it's clear he's looking to shoot this ball. He loses control, and you can't pass it to yourself. That should have been a walking violation. And there you see Dick Hunsaker. He can't self-pass. Dennis Drake taking the brunt of that frustration. My goodness. Dick Hunsaker very much into things.
Why do I have a feeling we will see that shot some more in the next 19 days?
Well, he's calmed down now, but...
Well, he had reason to be angry.
Exactly. No question about it.
It was a blown call.
And before that call, I started to talk, well, actually before that play, I started to talk about how impressed I'd been with Ball State's ability to weather the storm, and they're right now in the thick of things.
With 87 seconds remaining in the first half, it's a 2-point Kansas edge. Woodbury finds Jordan. Battle for the rebound that Richard Scott wins and gets the basket.
You know, Vern, as we look at the score, both of these teams north of 40 points, and Ball State wanted to keep it in the 60s, I think. So you've got to feel like if this pace continues, it favors Kansas.
Jamal Sylvester has an answer, though, and it's back to 2. Final minute, first half. Dandy first half. Scott, he'll shoot free throws. Foul is on Gillis. As we said, coming up at the half, the Prudential Securities at the half with Pat O'Brien and Mike Francesa, as we are underway with first-round games at 3 different locations. There'll be a 4th added a little later on from Salt Lake City, and they will bring you up to date on what is going on elsewhere in the country. St. John's jumped out to that quick lead over Tech, and Texas Tech came back to tie it, and they'll keep you appraised of what's going on there. Richard Scott at the line. 2 of 3 for the day. And 12 points in the first half.
Yeah, he's really been a factor in the paint area. He's so strong and he sits down so well in there that you can't get around him once he puts you behind him, and then he's very good at making moves to get you out of position and draw fouls.
Ostertag sits down. Missed them both, gets the rebound. Then it's taken away, and Ball State can tie. See if they play for the final shot. David Hall will bring it back outside.
I would think so. And you look for Jamie Matthews maybe to create for himself off the dribble, or maybe you try to get it in the hands of Jamal Sylvester, who's been outstanding along the baseline area.
Wow, the quick hands of Scott, and it's off the foot of David Hall.
Excellent defensive play by Richard Scott.
Hunsaker is trying to make a defensive substitution. He gets Steve Turner in the lineup.
And giving Marquis James an earful.
10 seconds. Adonis Jordan has it.
He can shoot over Matthews.
Back they go. Woodbury three-pointer. Nailed it. Stabbed Ball State in the heart.
Huge basket by Woodbury, created by the penetration of Jordan. Take a look at him get into the teeth of the defense, force help, and that leaves Woody all alone.
That's the end of the first half with our score. Kansas 48, Ball State 43. Pat O'Brien and Mike Francesa along with Prudential Securities at the half. After this word and message from your local station.
CBS Sports exclusive coverage of the first round of the NCAA Basketball Championship is sponsored by Buick and your local Buick dealers. Remember Buick, the new symbol for quality in America. McDonald's, what you want is what you get, guaranteed at McDonald's today. And by Midas, where you can get same-day brake service because your brakes can't wait.
To celebrate Buick's 90th anniversary, we proudly introduce the 90th anniversary LeSabre. LeSabre has a proven reputation for quality and the highest resale value in its class. Now you get all this Buick quality, comfort, and elegance at a special anniversary price. The 90th anniversary Buick LeSabre. Quality its competition just can't hold a candle to.
Now McDonald's always has one extra value meal for $2.99. Might be this one, this one, this one, or to find out which extra value meal is $2.99, go to your local McDonald's. Because if you want to know, you gotta go. Come on, no food fights. You know McDonald's extra value meals come with golden fries and icy Coca-Cola, right? Good. You know there's now always one on the menu for $2.99. Okay. And you know which extra value meal is $2.99 at your McDonald's. No? Well, if you want to know, you gotta go.
You have to be quick. You have to be smart. You need a clear head. You think I can do this on drugs? No way.
If you or someone you know needs help or information concerning drug abuse, call this toll-free number, 1-800-662-HELP. This message provided by the NCAA.
This is CBS.
The Carlsons have always loved Fridays. They love how it won't stick to their dental work. But since they've discovered our new Winter Fresh flavor, things have cooled off considerably. That is, At least as far as their breath is concerned. Because after all, when your mouth feels cooler, your breath feels fresher. So try new Winter Fresh Freedent, a cooler flavor for fresher breath.
Are you looking for that special outfit that you'd like to wear for Easter? Well, stop by your nearby Cloth World store for our Best of Easter spring sale. Our entire stock of McCall's, Simplicity, and Butterick patterns are 50% off. Save 37% on sheeting solids. Polymark paint, your choice of 65 colors, now 77 cents each. All-purpose scissors, a great buy at $1.47 a pair. Our sale is now in progress.
We've got the freshest inventory and the latest styles in the industry, but don't take my word for it. Come and see for yourself.
Kansas Jayhawks, Ball State Cardinals, 48-43. Mike Francesa didn't like the end of that game. We'll hear from him in a minute, into the halftime. Basketball all over the country as we bring you the tournament, 1993 style.
CBS Sports presents Prudential Securities at the Hash. Sponsored by Prudential Securities. The most important thing we earn is your trust.
Pat O'Brien along with my partner, Mike Francesa. What was wrong with the halftime there at the end?
Pat, if you're Ball State and you're trying to pull off the big upset, everything has to be right. You're down 45-43. You have the last possession of the first half. You're going to get a 2 or 3 attempt, maybe go in down 2 at the worst, maybe go in up 1. You turn the ball over. Kansas comes down at the buzzer, hits a 3, at least a 5-point turnaround. That's not what you have to do if you're going to pull off the big upset.
5-point game there and a 5-point game out in the East region. Winston-Salem, St. John's and Texas Tech, 49-44. James Brown and Billy Packer are there, fellas.
14:52 left in the ball game. St. John's on top, 49-44 over the 12th seed Texas Tech Red Raiders. James Brown along with Billy Packer, and that last foul called on Charles Minlin, a very physical player on the inside, as we take a look at Hughes, Lance Hughes, checking in for Texas Tech.
Jason Sasser doing a good job down on the inside, though. Takes a little blow right now.
Coy Smith, Will Flemings, Lenny Holly with the ball now, going for the shot, can't find it.
You know, Scott just playing over the top of everybody, JB, out there.
Using that height to his advantage, and stepping on the end line was Derek Brown. St. John's can't shake Texas Tech, Billy, as we take a look at the game summary. St. John's continuing to do the job on the boards.
Well, they do. They dominate the boards, particularly with Chanel Scott in the game. Kane, 9 points, 6 assists, but he has not been able to orchestrate a very well-coordinated offense in the half-court set so far. You figure if Hughes could get off the ground, Brown doing a good job on him.
And Sasser doing a good job down low.
The Texas 5A Player of the Year putting on a show here in the second half.
8 points for Sasser, averaging 10 on the season. Kane, Minlin, Derek Brown, Chanel Scott, and Sergio Luke, the 5 in white for St. John's. This is Brown.
Beautiful play. What happened that time to Hughes, he had to come out to check him. Overstayed his welcome. Brown went right on by him.
Overstayed his welcome.
I'll tell you what, they're going to Sasser right now, and Minlin can't handle him.
Well, Sasser and Minlin, those two guys have been going at it, and that was the last aggressive foul called inside on Minlin. Sasser not backing down from the challenge at all.
What's happened to Minlin, he's getting behind him. Sasser's got about 1.5 inches on him in height, and he's just eating him up inside.
Second personal foul on Charles Minlin. And a steal by Kane Reese, stolen by Fleming.
Beautiful play.
Nice pass to Smith, who can't make the layup, but gets the follow.
I'll tell you, Will Flemings does so many things on the floor. Great soft hands. Very smart basketball player. And he made the easy play there. You know, makes the good steal, makes the easy play. What a pass.
Nice pass from David Kane for the slamming Chanel Scott. 7 assists for David Kane. Starting to warm up for the Red Raiders. He's got 7.
Made 62 of 144 threes. That's 43%, JB. A great stroke on his outside shot.
I'd say that's finding the range.
Yep.
From that range.
See, back to the 2-3 zone now. Trying to match up inside again. Chanel Scott ought to just stay down around the blocks, he can get something out of it.
This is Hughes. Over to Smith from his range.
Kane with another rebound.
Ahead to Luke. Nice fake.
Now that was really Holly's fault. I mean, he has to stay back on that particular play. He let Luke get in behind him.
What a nice pass from David Kane, really showing his cerebral play. He's got 8 assists on the afternoon.
Tell you, Chanel Scott looks back at Fleming and said, you know, I didn't know he had that kind of release. You notice how Fleming just held the ball up in his face. He doesn't need a lot of time to get off that jump shot.
Boy, Menlin. You know, we saw him in practice a couple of weeks ago nailing those shots after practice as well.
Filtered in against the 2-3 zone right behind the front line.
57-52. St. John's on top. 11:40 left in the ball game.
That's 3.
Will pick up his 3rd personal foul.
Again, smart
Packer
play
there with the call on that game. And what should we look for down the stretch in this?
St. John's needs a working margin for 2 reasons in this game, Pat. Number one, they're a poor free throw shooting team, 65.4 for the year. Not good down the stretch. Kane, their point guard, can shoot the free throws. Everyone else a little suspect. Number 2, Texas Tech, a very good 3-point shooting team. So down the stretch, St. John's needs a little breathing room there to be comfortable.
57-52 is the score now. Another game going on out in the southeast region. This has become a blowout now with Florida State up on top of Evansville, 45-27. You've been watching that game with me as well.
And you said earlier, the good Florida State team has shown up so far. They're killing them in the backcourt. Charlie Ward makes a difference. You know what kind of team they are when he plays. 10-3 this year when he's been in the lineup. He settles them down. He gets them good shots. They're a little less selfish with the ball when he's in there, and the backcourt play for Florida State has been very good so far.
They look good in that game. 18:37 left in that ball game, and of course we'll keep you up to date on what happens there. Here's what's going on this afternoon on CBS. Our next round of games from across the country: Holy Cross, Arkansas, Long Beach State, Illinois, SMU and BYU, Tulane, Kansas State. Some of you will see Boise State and Vanderbilt. That's Prudential Securities at the half. Hope you enjoy the second half here on CBS. We'll be here all afternoon long. You have the best seat in the house. Enjoy the games.
CBS Sports presents Prudential Securities at the Half. Sponsored by Prudential Securities. The most important thing we earn is your trust.
At Prudential Securities, we invest the time it takes to get to know you. We invest over $100,000 in training every new financial advisor who serves you. And we invest millions of dollars every year in the research and analysis that helps serve you better. Because at Prudential Securities, the most important thing we have to earn is your trust. Lasers. Satellites. Cellular data networks. What exactly are we preparing for? UPS introduces Total Track, the only tracking system that can confirm delivery of your air and designated ground packages coast to coast in seconds.
Package was signed for at 9:26 this morning by Mr.
The arms race may be over, but the package race is just heating up.
Do you really want to play Division I college sport? Starting in 1995, if you want to practice, play, and receive an athletic scholarship as a freshman,
you'll need a minimum grade point average and at least 13 core courses in areas like English, math, science, and social studies, as well as a minimum score on your ACT or your SAT.
So a sliding scale has been developed that will permit a student who has a 2.5 grade point average in the 13 core courses to be eligible with a score of 700 on the SAT.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special report from Colorado's 7 News.
Good morning, everyone. I'm John Ferrugia in the Colorado 7 newsroom. We want to update you now on the abduction or the possible abduction of 4-year-old Michael Chandler, who disappeared last night from an Episcopal church in South Denver. Michael is 4 years old, as I said, blonde hair, brown eyes. He was wearing a green and black sweatsuit. He had a basketball on the front. He's about 40 pounds, and he's about 3 feet tall. About 200 officers are now searching areas around the neighborhood of that church and also some other areas. Cynthia Hessen has been following this story all morning, and Cynthia is right now at the Christ Episcopal Church in South Denver. And Cynthia, what can you tell me?
Well, this, of course, is where the command post has been set up, John, since 9 o'clock last night when this little boy suddenly disappeared out of the nursery during a church service here at the Episcopal Church. Searchers began looking last night. They did extensive house-to-house search in the area last night. They also did, of course, a big search here in the church. This is the picture of Michael Chandler that we have been working with this morning. Police, as you say, about 200 officers have been gathered in for this search. That includes police academy recruits, detectives, parole officers, SWAT team members, everybody who has been available, and everyone seems to be baffled by this case. It certainly does seem to look like an abduction, and as the police told us within the past hour, they talked to the FBI in Quantico.
And our main concern right now is that we get this child back. We also have developed some information. We have some people that we're kind of looking at that match this profile that's been provided to us by the FBI.
So, as we say, the police believing that it could very well be a kidnapping. However, they are doing other things. Dive teams are out looking at bodies of water in this immediate area, and there are construction sites that they have checked, and they've done some infrared checking from helicopters. Number of things going on, and just really a baffling case because there's absolutely no trace of this little boy who was here one minute and gone the next. John?
Cynthia, I know that they've searched the immediate area around the church and the neighborhoods. I also was told this morning they were searching in Littleton. Is there some reason for that?
That's right. Julie Hayden, in fact, can tell us more about that. In fact, John, you can tell me if we're going to be able to go live to her. Is that right?
I don't think we are at this moment.
All right. Well, let me tell you what I know. I talked to Julie just a while ago. One of the parishioners, and there are about 50 or 100 that were questioned after this service last night that the police contacted trying to get any clues. One of them lives in the area of a field at 5250 South Fox. The police do not necessarily, they say, have any reason to suspect this man or think that he is involved in any way. But since they have nothing else to go on, I understand from Julie that there are quite a number of officers down there looking in this field and also seeming to keep an eye on this man whose apartment is near it. So that is what we know for the moment. We also know that the parents are here somewhere in the church, and as you can imagine, just beside themselves because there is no reason to know why this has happened.
All right, if anyone has information about this or can develop some information, who do they call, Cynthia?
They should call the Denver Police Detective Bureau, which is 640-3541, and they would certainly be glad to have any information that someone may be able to give them. We do want to emphasize, though, that the police don't need any more help searching. They've got that pretty well coordinated at this point, and they are not asking for volunteer searchers.
Cynthia, just to make it clear, there are no suspects at this point that we know of.
No, there aren't, but because there is no indication or no real indication that the little boy could have wandered off by himself, it just seems very likely to the police at this point that someone took him and wandered away with him, and they are asking if that person should be watching at this moment, in fact, that they drop the little boy off at a local hospital.
Okay, Cynthia Hessen down in South Denver right now to Christ Episcopal Church. Thanks very much. We're going to be updating you throughout the day. We'll be getting back to basketball in just a moment, but throughout the day on this case. Again, if you have information, call your local police department. The little boy has now been missing since last night around 8 o'clock. I'm John Ferrugia in the Colorado 7 newsroom. We'll return you now to our regular program.
This has been a special report from Colorado's 7 News. We now return to our program in progress. You're watching KMGH-TV, Colorado's 7.
John, how you doing? You know AutoZone customers are pretty special. I mean, they take great pains in doing a job just right. So they know exactly what they want. That's why we carry so many parts. And also why we price them so low every day of the week. Because you gotta admire a guy who'll tackle a job like putting in a starter, a water pump, a rack and pinion. And you gotta give a guy like that exactly what he wants. The right parts and the right price.
Oh, Scott thinks about taking the long one, settles for the medium jumper. Ball State gets it. Matthews. Jamie Matthews goes by Jordan, puts the jumper up, off the glass, and good. And Ball State comes right back.
Well, I thought initially that a fast-paced game would favor Kansas because of their depth and their size. But clearly that is not the case. Ball State staying right with Kansas.
Jordan for three. Loose ball foul. Let's go to the first half shot chart, Clark, or Ball State, rather.
Well, anytime you shoot a good percentage, as you see a lot of shots in the paint area, shooting percentage is always a function of the kinds of shots you get. And Ball State with a lot of colored basketballs in that paint area.
Last foul was on Eric Pauly. That's his third. Stays in the ball game. Jamal Sylvester joins Matthews, Marquis James, Gillis, and Payne on the floor for Ball State.
I think Gillis wants it inside on Pauly.
Basket short. Sylvester tracks it down. Quickly they try and work inside, and the basket goes. 50-49. And this tenacious Cardinal quintet is back within one. That basket no good. Tip no good. Loose ball in the hands of Darren Hancock of Kansas. Adonis Jordan. Richard Scott. There's a tussle, and the foul will be called on Payne. His second foul.
Ball State common foul 34. Steve Payne. His second, the team's first.
Dick Hunsaker imploring his team to get their hands up. You don't want to allow hoops off the baseline out of bounds play.
Pauly's shot is short. Bill Gillis gets the rebound. Ball State can take the lead, but the ball is thrown away. Welcome those of you who've been watching other NCAA basketball tournament action. We are at the Rosemont Horizon, where Kansas has a 1-point edge with 17:25 remaining in the second half over a gritty Ball State team that is seeded number 15 in this region.
Boy, look at how far Bill Gillis is playing off Ostertag outside, really trying to slough off into the paint area. Look, not very much pressure on the basketball by Ball State. They want to keep it out of there.
Walter's shot wide to the left. The follow by Richard Scott is good, and he'll shoot a free throw. Scott has 14 points. He has been a force for Kansas today.
He really has been. That time on the offensive glass. Take a look at Gillis and Ostertag working inside. He just let him head out top, and he's hanging in the paint area to help out a teammate. See, the penetration here, though, hurt Ball State, because that allowed Scott to get to the offensive glass.
Not a good free throw shooter. And that one falls short. He's 2 of 6 for the day. But the three-point follow by Walters sends Kansas shooting to a 6-point edge.
Well, they made a couple of huge three-pointers. Woodbury got one at the end of the half, and then Walters with a big one here now.
That's his 4th of the game. And a foul is called on Darren Hancock. Jamal Sylvester will go to the line. Hancock's second personal foul of the ball game.
Well, here you take a look at Sylvester. Hancock with pretty good hops himself. Makes a good play on the ball, but got an awful lot of Sylvester with his body.
Sylvester goes to the line. 81% free throw shooter for the season. This will be his first today.
Well, that was pretty much an obvious foul call. There was a play earlier in the first half where Patrick Ritchie actually lost the basketball, and everybody initially thought because he caught it himself without a defender touching it that he had walked, but it was perceived to be a fumble, and a player can recover his own fumble. So that play had the potential to be controversial because of the tightness of this game, and right now...
At the risk of being thought a smart aleck, can he advance a fumble? No, that's the NFL, isn't it? Okay.
I just wanted to clarify that for those that were with us in the first half.
We checked at halftime, and Terry Holland, among others, said that he thought it was a bad call, but then they checked, and the officials did make the correct call as far as we know.
Well, great box out by Bill Gillis.
16:20 to go, halftime, or second half. Marquis James drives, And is fouled by Hancock, I believe. Let's see, is it Hancock or Ostertag?
Take a look at Bill Gillis, number 32, going to step in and help out on Walters. Roy Williams wanted a foul. There was some contact, but then Gillis doing a nice job to put his body between the ball and Ostertag as he came up with the rebound.
Last foul was on Hancock, his third. Marquis James goes to the line. You saw Rex Walters lead the ball game, and Marquis James, who is only a 51% free throw shooter, misfires on the first.
You know, I mentioned earlier how I felt that Ball State wanted to control tempo, but I think they've gained tremendous confidence in how well they played in the first half. So they're ready to play however Kansas dictates they should play to have a chance to win. So the increased pace hasn't bothered them a bit.
55-52, back to a 2-point or 3-point margin. Jordan goes by Matthews. Nice drive. Whoa, what quickness.
Pause, park him, and then put him away.
And he did. 57-52. And Bill Gillis has the answer at the other end.
Vern, we're getting spoiled.
I know. I hope the next 3 games are as well played as this one. Hill ball. The possession arrow goes to Ball State. Watch Adonis Jordan drive the lane and get the basket. Kansas leads, but only by 3.
There are over 11 million accidents each year. That's the best reason in the world to have a car with anti-lock brakes. And no one has more cars and trucks with standard anti-lock brakes than Chevrolet. Cars like Lumina Euro, Caprice, and Cavalier to help you stop accidents before they start. What else would you expect from the heartbeat of America?
Move it, cool it, silver, bullet, rock it, smooth it, silver, bullet, play it, pull it, take it, taste it, live it, love it, say it, play it, take it, pull it, silver bullet. It's the right beer now. Grab it while you can. Silver bullet, yeah, the right beer now.
Tan was feeling a bit one-dimensional. Gotta be more to me than just plain old tan, he said. And Dockers agreed. So from khaki to chamois, Sahara tan to bamboo, we uncovered every beautiful shade tan had to offer. Tan was ecstatic. Said, I'll never work anywhere else. And maybe he won't. Nobody does tan like Dockers.
Life. Around every corner, financial questions, choices, surprises. When you need direction, the Principal Financial Group can guide you toward your goals. With flexible insurance, solid investment strategies, stability you can count on. No wonder people have been coming to the Principal for over a century. To secure your future, to get an advantage, get the Principal Edge. The Principal Financial Group.
Lee Horsley.
I think he sent us.
Investigates crimes of passion.
You let that monster back out onto the street.
His life on the line. Bodies of Evidence returns Friday, April 2nd.
57-54, Kansas, 15:39 to go. Let's go back to the first half and that play in question, Clark, with Patrick Ritchie.
Well, this had the potential to be a controversial call, but he loses this ball on his way up, never got into the shooting motion, and initially we all thought it was a self-pass and a walk. But Lenny Works, the official, perceived that as a fumble, and a player can recover his own fumble. So good that we were able to get a look at that and clarify it for our viewers.
Rayford, Kansas. Marquis James gets a hand in it, saves it. Terrific play, but then Pauly gets it back for the Jayhawks. Hancock back to Steve Woodbury. Hancock from the baseline. And the foul's going to be called offensively. And if this is on Pauly, it's number 4. Let's see. It's on Eric Pauly, and he immediately heads for the bench.
Well, one of the things that Leslie Visser told us is that Roy Williams wanted his team to come out in the second half and be more aggressive on the offensive glass. In an effort to do that, Paulie picks up his fourth. And that is huge because he had played an outstanding game to this point, knocking down those perimeter shots.
Ball State in the second half, 80%, and they missed on that one. But the rebound goes out of bounds and will be controlled by Ball State. Dick Hunsaker in his fourth year as the head coach at Ball State.
They've won 20 or more all 4 seasons, and he's been in postseason play all 4 years. This year in 90 in the NCAA tournament, the 2 years between the NIT.
Look at this. Ball State back within 1.
Well, I think if Ball State can grab a lead, it'll be interesting to see how Kansas reacts. They pretty much led wire to wire, and the complexion of the game would change drastically if Ball State's able to get on the top side of the scoreboard.
Walters guarded by Marquis James. Back they go to Jordan, who takes the 3. And Kansas. The 3-point baskets have been critical for Kansas in maintaining a lead.
It really has been. That's been huge all game long. We think of the one Woodbury hit to end the half. Walters just hit one 2 possessions ago. Now Jordan again. They made 4 of 11 at the end of the first half. There you look at it. 6 of 14 from behind the arc.
And they are hitting for the season an average of almost 40%. So not unusual that they rely on the 3-pointer. Here's Ostertag, the 7'2" sophomore center, has the ball come down in his hands. Walters.
Florida State rolling over Evansville, and they've got that kind of explosiveness.
Turnover on Kansas. It's 8. The foul on Ritchie. Steve Payne comes back in for Ball State, number 34. Kansas has led throughout. They were up by 5 at the half, largest lead in the ball game, 9. That was midway through the first half, and right now it sits at 4. Matthews and Sylvester, along with Payne, Gillis, and Marquis James for Ball State.
Kansas in a 2-3 zone here, trying to slow things up, trying to keep the ball out of the paint area.
Alley-oop. Foul called on Kansas. And Steve Payne will shoot 2.
You attack the zone over the top, and Walters, with a little lower body root canal, slid Payne out of there.
That's 3 fouls on Walters. And the 6th team foul on Kansas. They've got Paulie on the bench with 4, and Walters stays on the court with 3. Too strong by Silver. Oh, no, it goes. What a touch. 60-58.
And these rims are really pretty tight. I didn't expect to see any criers today because these rims are pretty snug.
Sylvester is 7 of 7 from the field.
You know, when you shoot wrong-handed, you've got an awkward spin on the ball, and maybe that helped him on that particular shot.
Wrong-handed, huh, rather than left-handed. Marquis James picks up his 4th foul. Near the conclusion of today's game, Clark and I will select a Chevrolet player of the game from each team. Chevrolet donates a $1,000 scholarship to the General Scholarship Fund of each school. Substitution now. David Hall checks back in. He'll replace Marquis James, who has the 4 fouls. David Hall, who transferred to Ball State from Little Rock, Arkansas. He was a member of the Little Rock, Arkansas team that was in the NCAA tournament in Salt Lake in 1990, and he watched. Here's Woodbury for 3. Another dagger by Steve Woodbury.
Well, he's had a marvelous game, and if you just looked at his points, you wouldn't think so, but he's done everything well at both ends of the floor today.
Steal, Woodbury, hasn't he, though? Jordan, 2 more. Lead is 7. Ball State fights and claws and scratches, and they get within 1 or 2. And then here comes Kansas. They triple team David Gillis, the shot too strong. Jordan with the rebound.
Kansas now looking to really extend this lead. They've had a couple of strong possessions due in large part to their defense.
Patrick Ritchie kicks it back out to Jordan. That really hurts. Timeout. Ball State wants to talk it over.
When you defend, you've got a chance to put together spurts. Woodbury steals and gets it to Jordan for the deuce.
You're looking sharp. You come so far. And we know how to make the most of who you are.
Only Gillette Sensor has spring-mounted twin blades that adjust to your face. A shave this close, this safe was never this easy. Sensor, and now there's Gillette Shaving Gel with advanced lubricants for an incredibly smooth shave.
Gillette, the best you can. Like a rock.
If you depend on your truck to last, here's news you should never forget. Of all the Chevy trucks built in the last 10 years, over 98% are still going strong. That's more than Ford, more than Toyota, more than Nissan. Over the years, no other truck is that dependable, foreign or domestic. Only Chevrolet, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road.
Too many businesses today leave their customers up in the air. But Allstate is different. Your Allstate agent's job is to keep you secure for years to come. To stick by you so that you stay with Allstate for your car insurance and home insurance. For years. For life. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Gillette introduces the best shaving gel ever. New Gillette Gel. Advanced lubricants. Easier razor glide. An incredibly smooth shave. Now, the best gel is Gillette Gel.
Now you can have a firmer fanny with the Fanny Sizer from Firmco. Just shake, shake, shake your way to a shape.
Still going. Nothing outlasts the Energizer battery. It keeps going and going.
If you love adventure, travel to a time when adventure was a way of life.
Ryan! Dr. Guy!
Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman, Saturday on CBS.
For the first time this afternoon, the lead is in double digits. Kansas on an 11-2 run. They had a 57-56 lead, and it's now out to a 10-point edge over the last 2:45, and they've gotten it in part with 3-point field goals. Another steal by Woodbury.
Well, that's a 24-point advantage behind the arc for the Jayhawks today.
How about Ritchie, Adonis Jordan, and Payne pulls it down for Ball State. Matthews for three. That's the first for Ball State today. Jamie Matthews with 14 points. Ostertag, and it's 68-61 with 11:02 remaining in the ball game.
Boy, Ball State has clawed back countless times, but you wonder how many runs do they have in them as you look at Florida State continuing to roll over Evansville. You know, it becomes a little bit draining to fight your way back from 6- and 8-point leads and never get on top. And you just wonder if they've got enough energy and depth to be able to fight back again.
Shot clock down to 5. The first time it's been a factor today.
Well, I love to take a look at defensive rebounding that leads to a transition three. See, that's Payne on the glass. Kick it out to Matthews. All the white jerseys run to the paint area. So that leaves Matthews available for the pull-up three. That is absolutely one of the best times to shoot the three-point shot when you got it in the hands of a good three-point shooter in transition.
Second foul on Sylvester. 68-61. Kansas. Second seed, facing a 15 seed. Only once before in tournament history has a 15 beaten a 2. It happened 2 years ago when Richmond knocked off Syracuse in College Park.
And you were one of the guys calling that game, right?
It was exciting. Lenny Elmore and I were there. Here's Ostertag. Foul by Gillis.
Not a smart foul there. He had good position. He had Ostertag away from his sweet spot in the paint, and then he reached in and bailed him out. You want to just chest a shooter like Ostertag when you've already bumped him away from his comfort zone.
Third foul on Gillis, and that is the 15th foul on Ball State. Richard Scott checks back in, replacing Patrick Ritchie. And Dick Hunsaker talks things over with Jamie Matthews. Ostertag shooting his second free throw today. He is 0 for 1. (70-61). Under the 10-minute mark. Ball State almost throws it away, and it's taken by Adonis Jordan. Now Woodbury. Gurley's in the lineup. Scott, offensive foul.
Boy, they had numbers there, and Richard Scott a little bit out of control. As you see Roy Williams talking to him about it. And sometimes after a mistake, the last thing you want to hear is, what went wrong? The coaches don't really care about whether you want to hear it or not.
Precisely. 70-61, 9:43 remaining in the ball game.
Well, good pressure on the ball here by Jordan.
Payne too strong. Woodbury can't control it. Scott traces it down for the Jayhawks. Adonis Jordan. And a foul away from the ball. Turnovers thus far in the ball game.
No basket.
Ball State with 11, Kansas with 9, but Kansas with 16 points.
That's a pretty good conversion rate. Not a lot of turnovers either way, but Kansas certainly has capitalized more than Ball State has.
Woodbury's going to get a rest, so also will Bill Gillis, who picks up foul number 4, so each team with one player down now. Eric Pauly is on the bench for Kansas with 4 fouls. Let's check the lineups. Walters, Jordan, Scott, Hancock, and Ostertag on the floor for the Jayhawks. Jordan looks underneath, finds Hancock. And a good, strong offensive rebound by Ostertag.
Well, he just outreached Steve Turner inside that time.
The lead is 11, 72-61. Matthews, good soft roll.
Well, I expect Matthews to look to try to create a little more for himself. He knows his team needs points every trip down, and Bill Gillis is out, so they lose a post player.
Another offensive foul. This called on Richard Scott, and that gives him an earful of Roy Williams again.
Well, take a look at Ostertag. See, Turner tried to front him, and that allowed Ostertag to get inside position on the missed shot, and then he just outreached 3 red jerseys to get that foul.
Ostertag will get a rest. They'll move Ritchie into the low post area now. David Hall got it for 2. 72-65. They will not fall back. They are tenacious, this Ball State bunch from Muncie, Indiana.
And Roy Williams very much expected this. Oh, my.
And again, it's the three-pointer, Clark.
Those just demoralize you, Vern. I mean, when you're a player, Ball State's playing pretty good. They're getting good shots, but it's tough every time you make a little run that the opposition knocks down that 3. It just deflates you. And here's Matthews doing what I thought he would do, trying to create on his own and making it happen for his team. Pretty much just going one-on-one and making it happen.
Jamie Matthews with 18 points now. Rex Walters has 20 to lead all scorers. And it's 75-67 with 7:43 remaining.
Walters has only missed 1 or 2 shots. He was perfect in that first half.
Jordan. All he needed was to make the basket. Sylvester saves it and puts it off the body of Adonis Jordan. It'll be Ball State's ball, but time has been called.
The NCAA Women's Final Four, April 3rd on CBS.
There are cars with advanced engineering. There are cars that make you comfortable. There are cars that are well protected. There are cars that protect their occupants well. There are cars equipped the way you want. And cars that are easy to own now. Which one should be your new car? All of the above. Chevy Lumina Euro Sedan. Test drive a Chevy Lumina Euro today at your neighborhood Chevrolet dealer.
In cities and towns across this land, we're always there to give you a hand. We're Service Star, Hardware, Lumber, Home Center.
Being a good neighbor, helping you do things right. That's what we're all about at Service Star. Hardware, lumber, home centers.
Service Star, good neighbor, good advice.
Cellular One has set up state-of-the-art cellular service that reaches clear across America. Beautiful, isn't it?
Long about this time of year, folks in Lake Edna start wishing for a little spice in their lives. So KFC decided to do something about it. Introducing a whole new way to enjoy great-tasting chicken. KFC Spicy Chicken Bites. Just $1.99 for a single serving. Tender morsels of skinless chicken, oven-roasted with a zippy flavor. Get them while they last. Folks here love them. In fact, Lake Edna may never be the same.
We are KFC. We do chicken right.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special report from Colorado's 7 News.
Good morning. I'm Cynthia Hessen reporting live from the Christ Episcopal Church in South Denver, where we may have some new information on the 4.5-year-old boy who has been missing since last night. At this point, the information is unconfirmed, but there has been radio traffic on the State Patrol channel indicating that a little boy has been found in the area of Highway 7 and I-25, a little boy who is in good shape. It is not confirmed that it is 4.5-year-old Michael Chandler, the little boy who has been missing since 9 o'clock last night. But we are waiting for confirmation here at the command post, where more than 200 Denver police officers have been searching this morning for this little boy who disappeared out of the nursery at the church last night. We'll get back to you as soon as we know whether it can be confirmed. And I'm Cynthia Hessen reporting live in South Denver.
This has been a special report from Colorado's 7 News. We now return to our program in progress. You're watching KMGH-TV, Colorado's 7.
Scott goes to the free throw line. We welcome those of you who are watching the St. John's victory over Texas Tech. In our ball game, Kansas has hung on to lead over Ball State by 9 right now, 76-67. It has been a well-played game by both teams. And the three-point shooting of Rex Walters in large part accounts for the difference in the game. He is a perfect 5 for 5. Ball State climbed to within 1 at 57-58. And here at the other end, it's Steve Payne who has the ball knocked away and a foul called on the Jayhawks. So back to a 10-point edge at 77-67 with 7 minutes remaining in the ballgame.
Really important for Ball State to maximize every possession, continue to be aggressive, that time against full court pressure, threw it over the top. And then obviously when you're trailing, as you get later and later into the game, all the little things have to go your way. You've got to make your own breaks.
Steve Payne misfires on the first of 2 free throws. Field goal percentage, Ball State, you can see why they are in this ball game. But the three-point edge, look, Kansas 9 of 17. Walters perfect from 3 points. Jamie Matthews leads Ball State with 18 points and 7 assists. And now Steve Payne with his Second free throw attempt back to a 9-point ball, 77-68. Adonis Jordan, number 30, is joined on the floor now by Hancock, Scott, Ritchie, and Rex Walters.
This is where Kansas is pretty tough. They've got a lead. You're getting late into the game. They shoot free throws well as a club, and this guy hasn't missed from behind the arc yet.
Still hasn't. 23 points, 6 of 6 on three-point shots for Rex Walters.
Well, that's how you become all Big 8 first team the last 2 seasons, and he's stepped it up big time lately. I mentioned it earlier, but he's averaged 20 points a game in his last 4. Hasn't done anything to date to hurt that average.
Matthews misses with a shot. Walters gets the rebound, finds Hancock. 2 more. And that should do it. 6:06 remaining in the ball game. The second-seeded Kansas Jayhawks have increased their lead to 14 points on Darren Hancock's dunk.
I got an 88 Chevrolet Silverado with 304,000 miles. I drive it to work, 125 miles one way to work, 304,000 miles, still rolling.
I got approximately 353,000 miles on this truck. It runs 10 or 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. It's always brought us in, you know, regardless of where we was and what we was doing.
Chevrolet, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road.
Keep tires on it, keep gas in it, it'll go.
We live forever through our deeds, the lives we touch, and what we leave behind. In 1843, a company dedicated itself to that proposition, and it did so by writing the nation's first mutual life insurance policy. That company was Mutual of New York, and we're still in the business of ensuring long and prosperous futures. After all, we've been looking forward for the past 150 years.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special report from Colorado's 7 News.
Good morning. Once again, I'm Cynthia Hessen at the Christ Episcopal Church, and it seems that it has been confirmed that 4.5-year-old Michael Chandler has been found alive and well. You're looking at some people behind me who have been celebrating as they have listened to the police traffic coming across from Adams County and the State Patrol. We don't know the particulars on this situation yet, but everyone here who are dealing with the Denver police seem to be very relieved. Lots of tears going on, and just really an amazing ending to a story that didn't seem to have any indication it would end happily. Michael Chandler disappeared out of the nursery here at the church last night just before 9 o'clock. Absolutely no trace of him anywhere. 200 police officers have been working on it all morning. Volunteers from the church have done some. Everyone just fearing the worst for this little boy who has apparently now been found alive and well in the area, we think, at I-25 and Highway 7 in Adams County. As we say, quite a joyous scene here at the church as the news spreads that it looks like he's been found alive, and we will certainly bring you more information just as quickly as we can get it. Reporting from South Denver at 2950 South University, I'm Cynthia Hessen, Colorado 7 News.
This has been a special report from Colorado's 7 News. We now return to our program in progress. You're watching KMGH-TV, Colorado's 7.
They've had a couple of dry spells, a couple of possessions where they didn't convert, and then Kansas knocked down some threes. Then they had a couple of possessions where they didn't handle the ball, and Kansas made them pay.
This is the first of 4 games here. The second game will feature SMU and BYU. Off the glass here is Steve Woodbury for 2 more. And we have the largest lead of the game at 84-68. Kansas perfect on its last 6 from three-point range. There's an air ball. And Ritchie gets it for the Jayhawks. Kansas will take on the winner of either SMU or BU.
The alphabet game.
Right. Southern Methodist University and Brigham Young meeting for only the 3rd time in the history of those 2 schools. That's game 2 here this afternoon.
Yeah, Brigham Young brings a large team to the table. They average about 6'8" as a unit, and they've got 3 or 4 guys 6'9" or better.
4:45 to go in this one, 84-68. And the Kansas Jayhawks, who were knocked off by UTEP in the second round last year, will apparently advance to the second round this year with a hard-earned game over Ball State.
Yeah, very, very tough game for Kansas. But I think even though they've been banged up and they've struggled in the second half of the season, that Kansas may use the whispers of the skeptics as foundation for motivation and adrenaline. I mean, they want to prove that they deserve to be a #1 team as they were earlier this year.
Eric Pauly comes back into the lineup now with Rex Walters for the Kansas Jayhawks. Darren Hancock and Richard Scott will get a rest. There's Pauly playing with a sprained knee and 4 fouls.
Yeah, he's played extremely well, though. I thought he moved extraordinarily well considering how little he's been able to practice and how banged up he's been of late, but certainly got off to the good start. And sometimes when you've got the nagging injuries, if you get off to a good, strong start, that adrenaline kicks in and you feel good and you're able to forget about any nagging injury a little easier than you would if you were struggling out there on the floor.
Saw Quentin Benson check in, number 31 for Ball State. Jordan, that's their first miss in their last 7 from three-point range. Matthews.
How good is Steve Woodbury?
Oh, boy.
Right on cue.
That good.
Unless you've been with us the whole game, you really can't appreciate all the things that Steve Woodbury does. I mean, he's the X factor for the Jayhawks. I said it earlier, but he rebounds, he scores, he defends, and he takes and makes big shots.
Well, he has done it everywhere today, defensively and offensively. Pauly. 88-68. The lead is 20 with 2:55 to go in the ball game. That ball knocked out of bounds, and it'll be Ball State to inbound. Now Gurley comes back in, and here's Steve Woodbury. He'll get a rest. And a nice hand from the Kansas crowd that is here. Only 10 points, and I say only because his presence meant so much more. Florida State leading Evansville. And out west, Illinois takes on Long Beach State. It was Long Beach State visiting Lawrence.
That's right.
That knocked this Kansas team out of the #1 ranking in the country.
Yeah, they walked in there and drummed the Jayhawks. Just one of those games where the Jayhawks couldn't get it going, and Long Beach State got confidence, and everything went their way. They played an outstanding game.
That happened in January when this Kansas bunch was 16-1 with their only loss to Michigan. And totally unheralded Long Beach State comes in. That was a paycheck as far as a lot of folks were concerned, and bingo. Here's Rex Walters. He'll get a rest with 23 points today. And he was brilliant with the long-range shooting.
Outstanding. And again, has been on a rip lately, and there's no better time to get it going than this time of year.
88-70 with 2:45 to go. Ball State will wind up 26-8 for the season. And Kansas goes into the second round to face either Southern Methodist or Brigham Young University. .223 remaining. There's Quentin Benson. That's for 2. Gillis with another rebound. Elbows his way for another basket. He's got 14 points. First field goal in the last 5 minutes and 17 seconds. Jordan with the assist. And Eric Pauly with the basket. And we've got 100 seconds to go in the game. 92-72. At one point, with about 10 minutes remaining, Ball State trailed by just 1, but they had They had used so much energy keeping in the ball game. And a couple of turnovers and three-point shots, and bingo.
There you go. It's out to double digits, and the end is near.
92-72, 1:15 to go. Kansas will go to 26-6 for the season. And meet either SMU or View on Saturday. Chevrolet players of the game are Rex Walters of Kansas with those 23 points. And Bill Gillis, the senior from Indianapolis, number 32 for Ball State, who chipped in with 14 points and a ton of rebounds. A check in the amount of $1,000 will be donated to each college's general scholarship fund to further assist qualified students in all chosen academic fields. Gillis comes out. So also does Jamal Sylvester. And Jamie Matthews. (92-72). Galvin Rayford. Shot no good. Rebound. And here comes Rodney Holmes, number 3. Gets it to Matt Winders. Underneath to David Rose, whose left-handed hook is no good. 92-72, Kansas leading Ball State with 22 seconds to go. It'll be the Jayhawks with subs playing now, going up against either Southern Methodist or Brigham Young on Saturday. Alley-oop, whoops. Ostertag gets the loose ball and puts it in. Roy Williams and Dick Hunsaker. Kansas wins it by 22 points, 94-72. Broke it open in the last 7 minutes of the ball game. Kansas, the second seed in the Midwest, moves on where they will take on either Brigham Young University or Southern Methodist University on Saturday. We'll be going back to our studio for updates from around the country with Pat O'Brien and Mike Francesa. The NCAA Basketball Championship on CBS. Final here, 94-72, Kansas.
Dave Thomas is making a new chicken sandwich for his favorite customer, his daughter Wendy. Introducing Wendy's Monterey Ranch Chicken, a whole breast filet topped with cheese, but not just any cheese, Monterey Jack. Then he whipped up her favorite dressing, creamy ranch loaded with bacon. It was so good, he kind of hated to give it away.
Wendy, it's ready. Oh, well, I guess I'll have to eat it myself.
Try Wendy's new Monterey Ranch Chicken Sandwich.
Dad, is it ready yet?
He scored only one goal his first season, but he went on to become the most valuable player in hockey. Starter. He was told he'd never start again. He came back to become the best reliever in baseball. Starter. Each had a dream, and when you start with a dream, where you end up is up to you.
The little things that are worth the most. Which is why every Delta faucet gives you more than you'd ever expect for the money. Giving you the money for those things you can't even put a value on. Delta, the way water is brought to life.
When we set out to design the new Geo Prism, the possibilities were endless. Then, step by step, we built a car that's as well thought out as it is well engineered. Once you see the end result, we think you'll agree. It all came together beautifully. Get to know the newest Geo Prism, at your Chevrolet Geo dealers.
Can a marriage counselor and a divorce lawyer share an office and still respect each other?
People have fun when they're married.
And then when they get caught, they wind up single again.
Good advice, Friday, April 2nd.
Pat O'Brien and Mike Francesa back in our New York studios. We must remind everybody there's no using erasers today, right? Your brackets is the way you made them out to begin with. Let's tell you about our games coming up here on CBS. We now have some tip times for you. Figure about a half an hour between each game. Holy Cross in Arkansas, that one tips at 2:39. Long Beach State, Illinois at 2:45 tip. Out in the southeast, Tulane and Kansas State at 2:52 tip. And SMU BYU, that is a 3 o'clock tip. And Mike, what about these games? Who do you like in there?
Well, I think you have a couple of competitive games. Long Beach State's a team people don't know a lot about. They just saw Kansas. They beat Kansas in Kansas earlier this year, back in January. A very big win for them, so they're a team to watch.
Let's get everybody up to date on what's been happening so far in the 1993 NCAA tournament. St. John's beat Texas Tech 85-67. David Kane with a big day out of the East region. David Kane gives it here to Chanel Scott for a big slam to give the Redmen a 53-48 lead. Texas Tech stayed in there, though, didn't they?
Yeah, and Will Flemings, number 44, as you see here on the rebound, had a great game for Texas Tech. Kept him in all the way, shot the ball brilliantly for Tech all day. He was a big factor in the game.
Texas Tech, meantime, only shot 32.5% from the field. St. John's, the first team to advance in the tournament, 85-67 was the final there. Now you see the brackets in the East. St. John's advances, as I say. They move on to play the winner of Arkansas Holy Cross. That game tips here at 2:39. In the Midwest region, Kansas and Ball State. Ball State wouldn't go away for a while, a 15-2 game, but Kansas prevailed 94-72, and Dick Hunsaker going wild on the sidelines.
And I thought really a big play in this game is Ball State stayed in the game all the way, Pat, but at the half, a big play in the game, which was the three-point play right before the half. They gave Kansas a little impetus. In the second half, they pulled away and really started to take charge as you expect a 2 seed to do.
Rex Walters had a big day at the office. He had 23 points, 6 of 6 from three-point range. The first shot in the whole tournament over there in the East was a three-point shot, so maybe that was an omen all across the way. 94-72 the final there as the Jayhawks advanced. And now we look at the brackets there. They will play the winner of BYU and SMU, and we'll have that game later today. Let's go back out to the Midwest now, and Leslie Visser has been talking to some players. This happened just a short time ago. Leslie?
Kansas moves into the second round of the NCAA tournament. It was a tough team to shake, though. Congratulations to Roy Williams and Rex Walters. They were tough to shake.